I asked 2 questions on the internet about drummers, and over 150 musicians responded from all over the world, from touring bands, recording engineers, producers, band leaders, promoters, and they did not hold back. Here's exactly what I asked. What do drummers do that make them seem more amateurish and less professional? And beyond how they play, what are some non-musical mistakes inexperienced drummers make? If you've watched my last couple of videos, some of this is going to sound familiar, and it's because I used these questions, among others, to help do research for those videos as well. In fact, I almost didn't make this one because I just didn't want to overdo it. But as I was reviewing the answers, it seemed to me that there was just too much value here, too much hard-earned experience to keep it to myself. The whole reason I started Common Sense Musician was to share lessons that I had to learn the hard way, things that cost me time, opportunities, and gigs. All of the responses I got fit into one of these 10 categories, so in no particular order, let's get into it. Number 1 is playing too loud or with no dynamic control. This is honestly probably the fastest way to expose an amateur drummer. Volume isn't power. Control is power. If you're constantly overpowering the band, smashing everything in sight, and not mixing yourself, you're not helping the music. You're causing everyone to adjust to you. And honestly, the biggest culprit isn't usually the drums. It's going to be the cymbals. It's almost never going to be kick or toms. Pro drummers have learned to self-mix, and they leave room so that the music can breathe. If your default setting is already loud, there's really nowhere for the music to go emotionally. In the context of recording or performing on a live stage, a great drummer is going to sound great before the sound tech or the engineer touches a thing. Number 2 is a bad time feel. You can have all the chops in the world, but if your time isn't solid, nothing else really matters. Rushing fills, dragging grooves, inconsistent tempos, even a sloppy count-off will kill trust in the band. One of a drummer's most important jobs is to make everybody in the band feel comfortable and make that groove feel safe. If the time feels unstable, the band starts to tighten up, and not in a good way. And honestly, good time isn't necessarily about perfection. It's about consistency and reliability, intention, and feel. Number 3, not listening or interacting with the band. If you're not actively listening while you play, even if you're playing by yourself, you're not really playing music, you're just kind of executing physical actions and patterns. Drumming is much more reactive and interactive. Ideally, you should be responding to the soloist, shaping the phrases, responding to the energy on stage in real time. When drummers go on autopilot and ignore what's happening around them, it feels disconnected and selfish. Pros treat the music like a conversation, not a monologue. Number 4, overplaying or using fills and grooves that don't necessarily fit the music. Fills are not required punctuation marks that you absolutely have to play every 4 bars. If what you play takes attention away from the main thing in the song, say it's the vocals or the solo, or it derails the groove, then you're hurting the music. One person specifically said that if a drummer played a funk groove while taking a solo during jazz trading 4s, they would never hire that drummer again. And I felt that, personally. Great drummers choose to play things that support the song, the style, the groove, the energy. Number 5, showing up unprepared. Nothing screams amateur musician like not knowing the music. This can include the form, the style, the arrangement, the hits, the tempo, and how your part is going to fit in with the rest of the band. Thinking to yourself, I'll just feel it out, is not a professional plan. Preparation shows respect for the other musicians you're going to play with, for the music, and ultimately for the listener. Number 6 is poor professionalism around the gig. Drummers actually have a little more responsibility than other musicians, especially when you think about the amount of gear that we bring. So we need to show up early, be efficient, and be aware of the impact we're having. A few things that cause problems can be taking a long time to set up, talking or playing between songs, or when somebody's trying to give instructions. That can cause problems as well. Another item that came up frequently was if there's another band waiting to come on stage, you shouldn't be breaking down your kit on stage. Move everything off and then take it apart. A pro knows when to play, when to stop, and when to disappear so that the show can move forward smoothly. Number 7 is bad communication, and anybody who's been around me for the past couple of years knows I think the biggest problem in the world is bad communication. Bad communication results in unclear expectations. Bad communication can also be things like not discussing the details, backline, pay, call times, load-ins, song arrangements, any of those things. It can also be not listening to feedback, not listening to the band leader, not cooperating with the sound tech. All of these things can create friction fast. Again, pros communicate early, clearly, and calmly. They ask questions. They confirm their own assumptions. And they make things easier for everyone involved. Pros create clarity and eliminate confusion. Number 8 is, I'll loosely call it gear negligence. The way you treat your gear can reflect your professional standards. If your drums are not tuned properly, or the heads are worn out, or maybe you're using broken sticks or other implements. This can also be forgetting things that you need for a gig, like brushes or small percussion items. Or maybe it's the bringing the kit and the gear that's just way too much for a given situation. All of these things can signal inexperience. Look, you don't need the most expensive gear on the planet, but it should be in good shape, functional, ready to go, and appropriate for what you're trying to accomplish with that particular gig. A great sounding, efficient rig makes everybody sound better, and it makes everything go easier. In this way, professionals solve a lot of problems before they ever happen. Oh, and one more thing. I know I've said it on earlier videos, but a pro turns off their snares when they're not playing. All right, number 9 is an unprofessional attitude or bad behavior. No amount of skill is going to save you from a bad attitude. Complaining, defensiveness, emotional outbursts, not listening to feedback, maybe it's being intoxicated, all of these things can make you hard to work with. Being a good hang matters. Pro musicians want to work with other pros, people who bring a sense of respect, calm, kind of put togetherness into the room. If stress or a beer or critical feedback turn you into a liability, you're not going to get called back, no matter how well you play. Number 10 is being disengaged socially. A few things that send the message that you don't really care about the people you're playing with are being glued to your phone the whole time, or avoiding conversation, or even just being by yourself the entire time. You absolutely don't have to be the life of the party, but you do need to be social. You do need to engage. A lot of times those professional relationships are built during the downtime. Pros stay present during the entire gig. They stay mentally in the room. They engage in conversation. They offer help when it's appropriate. They build relationships not only on stage, but off stage as well. At the end of the day, people are going to hire a drummer that they enjoy being around, not just playing with. Okay, if any of these 10 things hit a little close to home, don't feel too bad. Most pro drummers I know, myself included, have had to work on at least one of these things during their career. And before you roast me in the comments, remember, I'm not the one who said it. All these pro musicians online did, but I agree. The good news is, everything on this list is fixable. You can work on it and improve over time, and it doesn't have a lot to do with talent. It has a lot more to do with awareness, preparation, and respect. If you've ever seen someone making one of these mistakes, or maybe even caught yourself making one, leave me a comment. I'd love to hear about it. And if there's anything I left off the list, or if there's something on this list that you think shouldn't be there, let me know that too. If you thought anything in this video was useful, and you'd like other musicians to see it, please do make a comment, like, share, and if you're not already, consider subscribing. It really does help. All right, I'll see you in the next one. Until then, happy drumming.